Hey everyone, my name is Luis and I wanted to bring you a review for Silent Hill F. Mostly because I've been very conflicted about this game. I just recently finished the game and I have many thoughts about it. Um, because holy crap, it's a it's a bit confusing, it's a bit strange, and overall I want people to know what they're getting into before they actually buy this game, because right now I don't think it's on sale. I don't think it's gonna go on sale for a little bit. I know Halloween's approaching. I don't know if that's gonna be a thing. So I don't think so. But regardless, I bought this on a whim because a little bit about myself first. I love survival horror games. I have gone through most of the Resident Evil games. I've gone through the Dead Space series too, 1, 2, and 3. I didn't really like the third one, but Silent Hill though, it's more of a new series for me. I first got introduced to it through the HD collection on the Xbox, through backwards compatibility, and I didn't really like the second game. I thought it was really slow, really weird, and it wasn't off-putting. It was just strange. I didn't really appreciate what it was trying to show. Basically, I didn't go through the third one because I was really kind of disappointed by the second one, and then the actual remake for Silent Hill 2 came out, and that was way better. That was actually like that game. It was still really weird, but I like where it was going. I understood the story a bit more because I mean, by then I had already watched so many videos on Silent Hill 2 that I can write the story myself, basically. But aside from my history with these games, this is the new game, and it's actually quite different. It's very distinctive, actually, because it's not longer in Silent Hill. It actually takes place in Japan during the 1940s. I don't know, I think it was after World War II. And it's a big departure. Even in the gameplay, you actually see many changes that this game makes that some people might not like and some people might like. I personally will share my opinion as we go through the video. But regardless of that, that's just a little bit about me and what I like and my background on survival horror games. Just so you guys have a gauge or where I'm coming from with this review. Before we can actually start with the review, I want to go and give you guys an overview of this game and what it's exactly about and what you guys are getting into. So like I mentioned before, this game does no longer take place in Silent Hill. And with that, it comes with a big change of scenery. Now that you're in a completely different country, you actually play as a little girl in high school instead of a middle-aged man with depression, which is a nice change. Let's first talk about Hinako. She's the main protagonist of the game. She's a high school student who lives in an abusive home. Her father is an alcoholic, and her mother enables her father to keep abusing Hinako throughout her life. And she also has a sister, an older sister, which is getting married, or has already gotten married by the start of the game. So she's basically leaving Hinako behind on her abusive household. Though it does seem so depressive, she does have friends. She has specifically three friends in the game. One of them is Shu, who is her partner, which is this platonic friend who gives her drugs to keep away headaches, help her just live through life because of her abusive father. He also plays with her this space war game. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But all in all, it's this friendship that looks almost like a relationship, which brings about the jealousy of this other friend. And Rinko is this other girl that is actually into Shu and it's trying to get with them, but she feels that Hinako is like preventing that from happening, which is sort of right and wrong at the same time. Hinako herself actually gives her like the go. She tells her like it's okay if you want to go with you, like I don't have any problems. I'm not into him that way. But Rinko sees this as a problem because even though it's true that Hinako is giving her the go, Shu does have this like loyalty to Hinako. He won't leave her because he knows that if he like starts dating Rinko, they're gonna like that friendship with Hinako is gonna stop. It's gonna end, and her partner is not gonna be her partner anymore, basically, which is gonna cause problems for Hinako in the long run because she's basically a very lonely girl. There's this other friend, but I don't really recall her name. She's kind of not really a big part of the story. She leaves the story really quickly, as she's like barely introduced. She's already gone, so she's not really important. I'm not gonna really get into her right now. Only if the story demands it, I'll mention her maybe later. But regardless of that, she's not really into the in the story. There's also this other aspect of the game. You all know Silent Hill games have basically these two worlds. It's like the normal world and the other side, basically, which is often in the past games seen as like this industrial looking place, which is all messed up. In this world, it's actually called the Dark Shrine. And in this world, we are introduced to another character called Fox Mask, which is a representative of something that's coming into uh, Hinako's life, which is really important to the story, but it's not really mentioned or even alluded to at the beginning of the game or your first playthrough. So now with the overview of the characters over, let's actually talk a little bit about what's going on in the actual game. So you have this town, it gets infested by this fog that comes in. Hinako has to run, she's with her friends, she's trying to figure out what's going on, but at the same time she's just actually trying to survive because things just happen to her. She doesn't have any like interaction really with the like she doesn't have any intrigue to go and find out what's going on. She's mostly just chasing her friends, trying to keep them safe basically. But as the game progresses, you find out more things. You go into the other world, the Dark Shrine dimension basically, and it takes this horrendous turn actually. Like it's you do some very messed up things in there. And yeah, that's basically how the game goes. And well, with all that being said, let's actually start with the review because I do have a lot of things to say about this game. And first of all, I want to start with no spoilers. I do want to preface this by saying I played the game on the easy mode. I did not want to try the hard mode just yet. It was mostly because I didn't know exactly what was easy and hard. The game just gives you two options at the beginning. It's either hard or story mode, so I just chose story. This goes for the combat and the puzzles. So this governs two sections of the game. And the puzzles basically, I believe, just become more intricate if you increase the difficulty, and the combat just, I don't know, the enemies take less damage and you take more, maybe. So yeah, I played on easy mode just to preface that. And I do have to say also, this was my first playthrough. I know that this game has multiple endings, and for the first time you're playing through, you are locked into a specific ending. You have no choice on what other ending you can get. I have started a New Game Plus a little bit, and you can already tell there's a difference. Like once you go through it again, the story kind of starts making more sense, or you can actually see what the ideas in the game are. But I don't necessarily think this is a good thing because I know many people don't go through games twice, so I know many people will be missing this aspect of the game. So there's some stuff, something interesting to talk about there. I got no spoilers at the beginning. So with the combat, I want to start saying that I did not enjoy it. I think that taking guns away from the game was a mistake. I understand, I mean, the location, the age of the character herself. But, I mean, games are about having fun. I was not having fun with this game. I was slugging through it. The reason why it took me so long to get this game done, like, I just finished it. Like, it took me so freaking long to finish this game. And I clocked in it, like, around 9 hours. I think I got through it in 9 hours, maybe close to 10. But I mean, the game has already been out for like a month and something, so so I'm pretty sure like an hour a day will still not make it till today. So that's how much I did not enjoy the combat. Like I uphold it because it's a lot. It happens. It happens a lot. You have to deal with it, and there's some sections when you cannot run away from your enemies. Like you have to fight them. The objective of the game is to kill your enemies, and that honestly affects the way I perceive this game compared to other Silent Hill games. I do honestly do not believe this is a Silent Hill game. I know I don't have much experience with Silent Hill games, but it does not feel like one. It does not feel like one in the essence of the Dark Shrine, because you do a lot of things in that place which are fairly disturbing, but the outcome, it's I mean, it's sort of goofy. It's weird. you get these new abilities that, I mean, looking through it, like if you have a Silent Hill fan and you show, Silent Hill 2 and this game, they're not gonna be able to compare them. They're gonna be like, that is not Silent Hill. That is something else. I don't know what's going on in there. It's interesting, but I don't think that's Silent Hill. It's not necessarily a good Silent Hill game, but it's a good horror game. That's where we're trying probably to get to. But on the combat aspect, like I was saying, it wasn't good. I didn't enjoy it. I do look into gameplay as a big thing in games. I mean, look at Dead Space. That game has you doing the same thing over and over, repairing the ship over and over. If something, when you repair something, something else breaks. But the gameplay is what keeps it up. It keeps you engaged in the game, keeps you going because it's so brutal, so visceral that you just want to keep engaging with it. You get new guns, you get new things. In this game, you don't really get that. You get melee weapons, which are coming like what I believe are blunt weapons and sharp weapons. Blunt weapons are usually harder to break because weapons do break in this game, so you have to keep picking it up. So you get blunt weapons, which usually last longer, but they feel awful to fight with. They're really slow, and if you commit to a hit, you have to commit because you're gonna get blasted if you did not think it through, basically. And the sharp weapons are a bit quicker. You can actually maneuver a bit more with them. They actually make short work of the enemies, but they, of course, last way less than the actual blunt weapons. And they're not particularly fun to use. They're just better for handling the enemies, which overall just makes them better, basically. You do get toolkits, which help you or aid you to repair weapons, but honestly, I mean, you're gonna get another weapon somewhere in there, or you're gonna get very few toolkits through the game that honestly, like, it doesn't really feel like it changes much. It's like it's there, you can engage with it, it's there. And the combat does actually get affected by a different element, which is your sanity level. Your sanity level, basically, it's a thing you can use to focus on an enemy, and once the focus limit starts like filling up and it's filled up, you can attack him with like a special attack that stuns the enemy, which then allows you to fill up with more attacks. Which, I mean, sure, it works fine. The enemies are really really difficult to manage, especially when they're in large groups, because they all have different attack patterns and they usually do whatever they want. So it's kind of hard to use that ability, and you do get thoroughly punished if you fail at using that ability. So you just keep that in mind, that this ability, it's there, it's interesting. I don't think it's the greatest thing ever. I don't think it changes much, because sometimes I even forgot to use it, because when there are too many enemies on screen, that ability becomes useless, basically. And apart from those things, in the normal world, you do have this Dark Shrine. The Dark Shrine has its own different weapons. Actually, it's you get, I believe, 3 different weapons through the Dark Shrine, at least in your first playthrough. The first 2 are very similar. One's more long range than the other one, but that means that the weapon's longer. You don't get any long range weapons in this game, but it's I mean, they're fine. They're not great either, but they get the job done, basically. And then you get this other new weapon, which I should probably discuss in the spoilers, because it's really interesting. It's probably the most or the best weapon you can use in the game at that point. But I mean, it's still the same game, still the same combat. It does not feel great to use. You are limited by the use of this weapon. You actually, once you get it, you can use any other weapon, so it's there now. And yeah, I don't want to call it fun, because I wasn't having fun. I was just bearing with it. I was just it got me from place A to place B in a faster way than the other weapons. So I mean, it's better in that aspect. I wasn't having fun. It was just a better tool than the other ones, basically. With that being said, that's basically all with the combat. That's all the weapons you get. The enemies are very similar. They all behave differently, of course. They all have different attacks. They mostly look different. Some of them, I think, they look very similar, though I think they have because there's the real world and there's the Dark Shrine. Those enemies they share the same enemies, but they have different designs a little bit. They handle the same. They're basically the same enemies, you just look different. And they're not really fun to fight, especially the normal enemies, those doll-like women. they're actually really annoying to deal with. They're really fast, they attack quickly, and their movement, like, it doesn't really show when they're about to attack you, so you can really predict those attacks, which makes the whole fighting against them deal really obnoxious. It gets you like, I don't it does it made me not want to engage in the combat, basically, which is a thing that you have to, like I mentioned, you have to engage in combat to get to some of these sections, which, I mean, it's a hindrance for this game. And to wrap it all up with the gameplay, you actually do have the introduction of a shrine and basically candy. In the game, you can collect candy, and it boosts your stats a little bit. It, for example, some give you health back, but it also gives you a benefit of, I don't know, it keeps your health regenerating for like 20 seconds. Or if you use this candy for like 3 times consecutively, it heals you like even more the third time you use it. Stuff like that. It's interesting, but it doesn't really feel fleshed out. It just feels like you do have a bunch of healing items, basically, that's gonna overflow your inventory system, which on its own, it's really small. You don't have much inventory that you can deal with, and it gets filled up really fast, which becomes very annoying very fast when you start getting a bunch of items that you want, but some that you can really do something with, because sometimes, I mean, it was annoying, honestly. um and then the shrine aspect of all of this, you can actually, basically, it's like a saving station for your games, like the red square in Silent Hill 2 remake. There you save your game, you can pray, so you can boost your stats now. You actually can boost your health, your stamina, and your sanity levels, which, sure, there's progression in that. You can actually engage, and it becomes a bit of a, well, it gives you something to engage with in the game. Wait, there's that, which is progression, which, I mean, I like it. It's, you get something, you do something, you get something, basically. But it's mostly controlled by these things that you have to look out in the world, which are kind of difficult to find. I wasn't able to find many of them. I believe in my first playthrough, I only found like 4 or 5. They appear more near the end of the game, but I mean, they're very scarce. Like, I found a few of them. I think I did maxed out my stats for the perks, because you do have perks in this game too, now that I remember. In this game, you can actually get little boosts to your stats, permanent boosts, and you can slot them in this perk window that you have, and you can increase that through the progression of the game. But with that being said, I did not enjoy the combat. I thought it was a mess. It was something that I did not want to engage with any more than I did. It's my number one hindrance to going back to the game and playing it again. Like, I don't want to engage with it because I just did not enjoy it, and I know that you have to go through all of it again just to get through the game again. And honestly, I find that a big issue, in my opinion. I don't think the puzzles themselves were really interesting either. They were done with a specific I don't know, metaphor in mind. It's not a metaphor, but like an idea. They all have the idea of Hinako in mind. Like, you can see her progression in the game. Like, literally, physically, she starts getting beat up. Like, her clothes literally get ripped out. She has big ass scars. And you can see, actually, she starts to get like a little, I don't know if it was blood or something that was crawling on her arm. It was kind of weird. But anyway, like, you can see the progression in that visually. But the puzzles themselves, you kind of mirror that, but not completely, because most of them are just like, you get this bunch of things in front of you and you have to slot them into the right place. And sure, you get like a tip. You get like, oh, this, and this. But this doesn't really have to do with this. So now I'm confused. Why did this have to do with that thing? And it's not really very helpful, these tips. And I didn't really enjoy going through these puzzles because I knew I was not gonna understand them. It's not that they're hard, they're just bad tips. Like, the puzzles themselves, they're like little poems that you have to read, and you have to make out what exactly they're trying to mean. But they're not that useful. For example, there's this first puzzle where you're in a field. There's these scarecrow-like figures. You have to figure which one's the right one that's gonna point you in the right direction. If you don't, and you fail that puzzle, the one you chose is gonna attack you, the Scarecrow. So basically, you are using up your weapon, so it's breaking because it has a durability. You're losing health. You're engaging in the combat, which is already a bad thing for me. And now you have to try it again, the puzzle. So it's like you're adding to the problem basically when you're failing these puzzles, and then the hints are not really good. So you're just getting frustrated the more you go through this game, or at least I was. So yeah, I mean, after saying all that, you're probably thinking like, I hate this game. I dislike it, yes, but but there are good aspects to this game, specifically the story. The story is really good, but at the very end, most of the story, it starts really slow. It's a slow burn, but it's a slow burn in facts. Like, you don't really understand what's going on until the very, very end. Basically, you can puzzle things together. Like, there's a lot of things that start going on that you're gonna figure out yourself when you're playing through it. If you're paying attention to this, but most of it's like really hidden, and near at the end you're probably gonna like be like, oh, that okay, that kind of makes sense. So you start thinking of it more, then you're probably gonna poke holes into it and you're like, hey, what the hell is going on? And that doesn't really make sense. But then when you start a second playthrough, that's when things start to make even more sense, which is also one of my issues with the story, which is that you have to play it again just to understand the story. Which, I mean, sure, I appreciate that the game wants you to get more replay value out of it, but if I'm not, I don't have any incentive to play it again because I already got through it and it was a pain to get through it, and now you're asking me to do it again so I can get satisfaction out of the one thing that I'm, trying to get out of this game. It seems unfair to me. But yeah, the story itself, it was really good. I appreciate the ending, the first playthrough ending. How I interpreted it, I think it was done pretty well, because I mean, I could kind of puzzle it at the beginning. As soon as this character hands something to Hinako, you kind of start figuring out, hey, like, that's gonna come into play later, and and it does at the end. There's the fox mask guy, which comes into play at the very end of the game. Like, he appears throughout the whole game, but you only understand his actual meaning at the very end of the game. So yeah, the story itself, I think is the best aspect of this game. And with that being said, I want to get into spoilers just so we can elaborate more about this, because I do want to discuss it a bit more, because I want to explain it, or at least show what I understood about this game. So if you want the overall review, just like a quick score, now that I've talked about the things I didn't like, which was most of it. I did not really appreciate this game as it is right now. I like the story, but everything around it is just really tedious, really boring, and I just don't want to go through it again. I honestly cannot give it more than a 5, and that's mostly because of the story. I think it's an average game. I mean, you can live without it. It's the story itself, it's getting good. It's interesting. I'm intrigued to play it again just to know what the hell's going on. But just thinking about playing it again, thinking about going through some of these sections that I just enemy after enemy after enemy with the weapon system, the combat, no, I just don't want to do it. So yeah, if you really want an engaging story, this is not it. You're not gonna get an engaging story until the very end. Like, you have to basically like struggle through the whole game just to get that engaging story. And then the combat itself, in my opinion, I didn't like it. It wasn't as good as, for example, Silent Hill 2 remake. That one has a better combat, even with a melee. I did not like the combat, so for me that's another negative. And the puzzles themselves, I mean, they can improve with the difficulty maybe. I don't know, I haven't gone through it, but they're probably gonna be around the same thing. I honestly don't think that's gonna improve as much. They can probably become a bit more intricate, but I mean, if I'm already getting annoyed by the weird hints they give me on easy, if they give me even more cryptic hints in the harder difficulties, I'm gonna be like, that doesn't even make sense, dude. And I think that's an overall consensus. I don't know if that's exactly what people are saying. I think so, but I'm not sure. And yeah, it wasn't fun. I appreciate at the very end, at the very, very end. But I mean, if you have to go through all of it just to appreciate the very last few minutes of the game, I don't think that's a valid point for the game. But yeah, that's basically I think of the game. It's a 5 out of 10. Like, I did not enjoy most of it. Those 5 points are because of the story. Like, honestly, I do appreciate the story that much to give it like 5 points. Like, if the combat was good, it would have been a 10 out of 10. Like, if it was actually like enjoyable to go through, I think this game will be like 100% worth it. My main point is just it is not fun to play with. It's fun to watch, it's fun to understand, but everything else is just not fun to deal with. So yeah, it's a 5 out of 10. You can write your own comment in the comment sections. Tell me what you think. If I'm wrong, well, I mean, it's my opinion. It's your opinion. I don't think anyone's going to be wrong exactly with that. It's just how you enjoy things. But if you have a different opinion, please write in the comments. I'll read it and see if we can come to terms with something. See if I can, change my mind, or if I can change your mind. But yeah, if you're on the fence for this game, I honestly do recommend you wait for a sale. You're not missing much here, and I don't think the game offers too much for the price he's asking for. So yeah, it's a slog, but it's an entertaining slog. But anyway, thank you if you're not gonna watch the actual spoilers. So see ya. Everyone, welcome back to the spoiler section. So let's just get started. I'm assuming that you guys have some basic knowledge of what's going on in the story, so I'm just gonna blaze through it so to not waste more of your time. So let's start off with what is actually happening. So Hinako is getting married throughout the game. Like, that's what's happening in the background, like in reality. Because right now, what we're playing through, the Dark Shrine and the real world, it's not actually, both of them are fake. Basically, that's not what's going on. Because Hinako is actually not a little girl; she's a woman. She's getting married to the fox mask guy. Because this guy, he was saved by Hinako at a point. When they were kids, it's shown in the game when she saves him, and it is related to a fox because a fox attacks the fox mask guy, and Hinako saves him, so she relates him to the fox. So that's why he has a fox mask, I guess. But he's basically a husband, and throughout the game, Hinako is trying to basically transform into a woman because she sees herself as a little girl. She's trying to stop herself from growing, basically, and that's why she's still playing with her friends, or she's in the world where she's still hanging out with her friends, which also it's conveyed how she's losing that through the way she's always losing her friends in the game. Like, she's always one step behind them. They're always slipping away, getting away from her, which is really interesting now that I like you see it again, or you see it with a new context in mind. And through that, there's also the actual ritual, like the Dark Shrine, that world that you interact with, where you actually sacrifice like many parts of your life. Like, Hinako literally mutilates herself in the many scenes in that part. You lose your arm, you get seared, your back seared, you lose your eyes too. It's insane. It's a lot of stuff that's going on in there. But Hinako is doing that because that's her representation, or that's her way of looking at how she's becoming the perfect wife for her husband. So it's like this whole ritual. She's trying to make it work, basically, and she does everything with a smile. Like, she basically scared of doing, like, of cutting her arm off or cutting her eyes, because of course, like, what the fuck. But she still does it, and with a smile, she's like, I want this. Like, she keeps saying, fox mask guy, like, I want to do this. I want to do this for you, because that's the husband. That's like, she's trying to be the perfect woman for him, even though she's clearly scared of what's gonna happen, and she's clearly losing herself in that. And at the end of the game, she's basically lost everything. She doesn't have her friends. She literally kills her friends for her husband in the Dark Shrine. Like, she sacrifices them for the future she's expecting with him, which actually the husband and the marriage all comes about because of the father. The Hinako's father actually sells her to the man, or he like bestows her or arranges the marriage to the husband, because he's trying to gain money to pay off his debt. So Hinako, of course, is really not on board with this. She's like against it. But throughout the game, she's slowly accepting it. She's welcoming that. But that's where like the actual interesting part comes in, because there's two worlds. There's the Dark Shrine where she's accepting this change, and then there's the real world where she's fighting the monsters, where she's trying to resist this change. And at the end of the game, these two worlds collide. At the beginning, you think actually like the Dark Shrine wins, so she becomes basically a perfect wife. She becomes this monster at the end of the game, that she thinks that's why marriage is, like you become a monster. That's her way of accepting becoming a housewife, because throughout the whole game she's not like a woman, or like she's not viewed as a girl, like girlish. She's more like a tomboy, let's say. Like she plays with boys. She likes, well, she doesn't like girly stuff. Basically, she's into sports. Whatever the hell. I mean, that's archaic beliefs. Many girls do that nowadays. It doesn't really matter. But that's the story that it's taken. Of course, the story takes place in the past, so it's more representative of the time than it is now. But regardless of that, this is the two worlds that are clashing. And at the end of the game, basically, Monster Hinako from the Dark Shrine kills Hinako from the real world. So baby Hinako. But then she comes back to life, and she actually starts fighting back Monster Hinako for that place, basically. And at the end of the game, like keep in mind, this is all happening in her head as she's getting married. Like she is going through these two battles in her head. Like, do I go with this marriage, or do I, stop and deny this new life? And at the end of the game, you fight Monster Hinako, which is the marriage life, and you beat her. So you basically stop the marriage. But that's you stop it in a very, very violent way, because you see, now that you understand what's going on, that you basically destroying your future, you're denying change that is happening right now, you discover that Hinako is actually gone insane. You don't actually see this. You don't actually see Hinako as an adult. You don't see her with the wedding dress, but you do get like police radio chatter where they mentioning that she's actually killing people in her wedding. So basically, she's snapped. Something happened, and all the monsters you've been fighting through the game, it's actually the people in the wedding that you're killing. At the end of the game, you actually start running through the city, and there's many monsters around you, and they start screaming at you like, hey, stop it, don't do this, whatever. So it's representing that they're actually people and not actually monsters that you're killing. And so you escape the town, you basically skip, and you leave this trail of pills. And yes, it connects back to Shu, who is the one that gives you the pills. So yes, from the very beginning, I kind of saw this coming, because she gets handed the pills. Well, she gets a letter from Shu where he's like, hey, these are the pills for your headache, blah blah blah. I was like, well, why are you taking pills for your headache at such an young age? What's going on? And apart from that, you're getting them from another kid. So it's like that doesn't seem very like a good thing to be doing right now. But she does it. She takes them, and they of course take their toll on her, and she snaps. She starts killing people. The police chatter actually confirms that it is the pills that she's taking that are like what made this problem in her head and made her snap. So yeah, the ending is basically she's going to get married. She's walking the aisle, or she's in the reception, and she goes crazy and starts killing everyone. You don't get to see this. Like you have to imagine this, because it's happening. You just don't get to see it. You get the aftermath basically, and the representation of the dream, which is the actual game. The real world and the Dark Shrine world. So you get these things. It culminates with basically the child version of her killing the future version of her, which just negates all the progress she has done for the sacrifice. So now she reverts to pull this childlike behavior, which then combining with the pills, she ends up killing everyone. And yeah, I honestly do think, as predictable as I think it was handled pretty well. Like, I actually liked it. I like the reveal. I like how it happens, how it explained with the police chatter. Although they use all the right words, it's pretty nice, and I appreciate that a lot. But yeah, I know there's multiple endings, and these endings, I'm not sure exactly what they changed in the story. I understand that because I've been playing through it again, like just recently, like a little bit, and I've seen the smallest of changes. Like for example, in the beginning cutscene, you actually get different dialogue. You get the reveal that she's actually getting married, like she's getting sold off to this marriage, which is interesting. Like you can actually, like, it literally tells you directly what's going on, which I just hints in the first playthrough, which is interesting. It's like they want you to understand now the story, which is kind of weird because the first playthrough you're like, what the hell's going on, and the second playthrough you immediately start and you're like, oh yeah, this is what's happening, remember? And you're like, oh, well, you could have said that before, but okay. Anyway, so I overall do think the structure of the story was kind of weird. It's kind of weak at the beginning because there's not much going on. You're using the dream set. You don't really understand what's going on with the dark shrine, but at the end of it all makes sense. Well, mostly makes sense, and you actually get your satisfying ending. Basically, it's kind of sad. It's kind of insane because she goes insane and she kills everyone. That's kind of fucked up, but it at least is in a form of way satisfying because you now understand what's going on. But yeah, I did like the ending. I appreciate it a lot, and to be honest, I still stand by my 5 out of 10. I really like the ending, but I don't think that helps with the whole game because you still have to play it. You have to go through it to get to this ending, to get to this relief basically, and I don't think it's worth it. Though you can just watch it online and get it for free basically. You're watching this video. If you're watching the spoilers, you already got it. But it's really entertaining, and you don't, like I said, you don't get to see it. You only get to hear it because it's like basically it's just a camera looking at the road. So you understand that she probably like ran away after killing everyone, and that's about it. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I liked it. I think I understood most of it. I'm not sure if I'm missing some context of it. Maybe after some more playthroughs I can understand it. I'm not sure I'm gonna play it over and over again, but at least I would like to try and understand more of it because I did appreciate the story. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching if you stuck around to the spoilers, and I would like to hear your theories and or comments, how you interpret the ending. Just write down, type it down, I'll read it down. Hopefully I can interact with you guys. So thank you.